Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/today I effed up. We always seem to have a whale of a time, or at least I do anyway, when we read this. So if that sounds like something you'd like to listen along to with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, so starting off strong by today I effed up by accidentally proposing in Home Depot. My girlfriend and I were at Home Depot picking out a new shower head. We were joking around, pretending to roleplay as boring suburban homeowners. I mean, whatever makes the shopping trip go faster, eh? I said something like, I just want to build a life with you and maybe tile a backsplash someday. Oh, the romance, OP. She laughed and said, wow, that almost sounded like a proposal. So I, being a dramatic idiot, got down on one knee in the plumbing aisle with a washer ring and said, will you marry me, babe? We were laughing until she said yes, dead serious. Eyes misty, voice shaking. Yes, oh my God, yes. I froze. I panicked. I was not proposing. I was pretending. And I just went with it. We're engaged now. Our families know. There's a group chat. I still haven't told her it wasn't real. Oh my goodness. TLDR, pretended to propose at Home Depot. She thought it was real, said yes. Now we're accidentally engaged and I'm too scared to explain. I suppose whether or not this is a bad post for the OP depends on whether they're like, why not? Let's get married. And they're just kind of embarrassed that actually they didn't mean to. And now they don't want to say that actually they didn't mean to because they don't want to hurt their feelings. Or is the OP slightly panicked because they're like, oh, shite, I do not want to get married. Just, I don't know, suggest a really long engagement. Like years long. So then down in the comments, Lanky Guitar 6528 says, similar here. My girlfriend's father said he knew a discount jewelry guy if we were ever thinking of getting jewelry or a ring or chain or whatever. Cool. Then a month later, he says the guy is in town, so we all go to see what he has. My girlfriend picked out a ring, I paid, and we were engaged. Wait, what? That was 48 years ago. She's been a fantastic wife, and I couldn't have done better if I picked my own wife. Still. Very strange thing to happen. Even weirder that it's happened twice. And then SH Williams 4 says, this one sounds like it might make the distance. And then Phantom F4N says, I laughed harder than that deserves. Honestly, though, if it kind of works out, and you're happy, you don't have to do that whole thing then of like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, I'm going to propose and I'm so nervous, and you know about it for weeks and you have to plan it and you don't want her to find out that you're going to do it and it's all a big secret and it's just an absolute anxiety-driven nightmare in the run-up. You don't have any of that now, and you might actually have a wife you like. Happy accidents and all that, I think Bob Ross would say, innit? Not quite how he'd say it, like, but... Today I effed up, and tits 14 years too late to fix. Is that a typo, or did you mean to put that? Most of us have a name for our spouse or significant other. Playing with Siri one day, I changed my wife's name on my phone to Tits McGee. And never bothered to change it back. Obviously, when you change the name of someone on your phone, that name is associated with all the contact information for that person. So even though my wife's name isn't a part of her email address, every time I'd email her, the name shown would be Tits McGee. For 14 years, I thought I was the only one that saw that. However, every email I've ever sent that had my wife copied on, the recipient saw Tits McGee. Every effing email, including including our daycare centre. Oh my God. I'd like to thank the wonderful team at Chuck E. Cheese event planning for pointing this information out to me in an extremely professional manner. TLDR, I thought I was the only one that saw my wife's contact info as Tits McGee when emailing literally everyone for 14 years. Oh, that's great. I don't know why that one cracked me up so much. I laughed so hard that I got dizzy and I had to take a minute. I am immature. So down in the comments, Stratovector says, I worked at a company that had a rewards program for customers, and it, of course, included their emails. Each time pulling up their account for checkout, it would show me their email when it pulled up their profile. Let me tell you one thing. Some people use some wild emails. Oh, I bet. And then Vape Engineer says, it's always amusing seeing the emails people use on job applications or as their personal email in their company's HR system. I've had to migrate tons of contact information over my career, and it never ceases to amaze me. Some that I remember off the top of my head: Popper O-Ring. Huh? I don't get that one. Slimy and satisfying. Excuse me. Expecto but playus. Roofie Calot? Excuse me. Okay, keep an eye on that one. And But F Express. Seriously, take a minute and make a work-safe email, lol. Today I effed up by calling in sick to work and then bumping into my boss at the movies. Had a rough week and really needed a mental break, so I called in sick on a Friday to get a long weekend. I didn't plan anything wild, just wanted to relax, clear my head, and catch a matinee movie without distractions. So I threw on a hoodie and sunglasses, feeling like a low-key celebrity trying to avoid recognition, grabbed some popcorn and settled down into the theatre for 2 p.m. showing. As the trailers ended and the lights dimmed, I noticed someone sit 2 seats over. It was my boss. With his wife, also apparently sick. We exchanged one awkward glance, didn't say a word, and sat through the whole movie in silence. Monday at work? Super awkward. We just pretended nothing happened. TLDR, called in sick, went to a movie, ran into my boss doing the exact same thing, and now Mondays are weird. I mean, if you're going to get caught out and about pulling a sickie, which I think is fucking stupid, by the way, that you would even have to worry about that. And I will explain why in a minute. But like, at least the best way it could happen is if your boss also pulled a sickie. Because then at least it's like, well, do you know what? There's no way you can like write me up for this, okay? But yeah, I think it's stupid though that like you should feel like you can't leave the house if you've called in sick, because mental health is just as important as physical health. If you feel like you're on the verge of full-on burnout, take a friggin' day. Do something that relaxes you, you know, which might be outside. I think it's so wrong that the way it is these days, if you aren't at work, you better have like a broken leg or something, or be like firing liquids out of both ends. Otherwise, no, you can't possibly have an issue that means you can't come into work. Where realistically, there's many health issues you could be having, mental health being equally as important, if not more so, in a lot of ways. And it's just like, it's so frowned upon. And then they wonder why people just completely lose their shite altogether with their workplace and leave. And then places will be like, oh, I can't understand why no one wants to be at our beck and call all the time, and why everyone's just being signed off by their doctors for 6 weeks at a time. I just don't get it. And it's like, I mean, the way the world works these days, like with corporate world, with just the workplace in general, is extremely unnatural. Like, it's not normal. We're not actually made to work like that. Some people can and some people are happy with it, but there are so many people, a lot of people, majority of people actually, I would go out and say and put good money on, their bodies aren't made to work like that. It's unnatural. And quite frankly, it's like basically just wasting your life away, in my opinion. But unfortunately, we're all stuck in that cycle, aren't we? So yeah, I think more places should be like, do you know what? If you need a mental health day now and then, as long as it doesn't become like a ridiculously regular thing, then take one, because we'd rather you do that than just leave all of a sudden. Anyway, just some username 99 says, sat through the whole movie in silence. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, I'm going to need to talk a little bit quieter because I have just heard stirring from one of the kids' bedrooms, and I'm hoping that it's not because I have woke them up. I did go and take a quick check. Doesn't look like either of them are woken up. Could have been one of the cats, but I'm going to try and quieten down so as not to risk it. So, today I effed up by not realising iMessages were being delivered to my iPad and my kids were reading my text. Oh no. So, first off, Apple, what the F? Why the hell does an iPad get text messages on it? Apparently, I'm a 40-year-old dumbass who didn't know what was a thing. I'm new to Apple's ecosystem. Yeah, I wouldn't know that was a thing either. Samsung all the way, Android all the way. I'm one of them, sorry. I got a new iPad a few weeks ago and signed in with my Apple account. I rarely use it. I learned shortly after getting it that I hate tablets and prefer a laptop, so my kids watch Netflix and stuff on it. My wife and I are in our early 40s and been married 20 years this July. We have 3 kids, 12, 10 and 8. Oldest is a girl and the other 2 are boys. They are out of school for summer and we're apparently watching my iPad this morning. My wife works from home. Today I'm at work and thinking about her, and so I sent a message joking but also not joking. Hey, let's do some effing tonight. What a weird way to proposition that. She responded with laughing face and said okay, but that was it. I wasn't finished with the conversation. Me. Oh no. I'm gonna wreck that fanny. I'm not saying the P word. It gives me the ick, and I don't know why. It just always has. It makes me heave a little, and I don't know why. This has been a long day, so get ready. Her, sure, big talker. You'll probably fall asleep early again. Laughing faces. Me, not tonight. Tonight is a good night for effing and... Oh, I don't want to say it. And, being a Henry Hoover. Norm MacDonald's reference. Okay, I don't know who that is. That was pretty much it. Now, I don't normally talk like this. I was just trying to be funny and risque. My kids have certainly never heard me say any of those words, but a few minutes later, her. Did you know the kids are on your iPad? And did you know your texts are going to the iPad because they just read those messages? Oh no, I have no idea how to look them in the eyes when I get home. My precious 12-year-old daughter thinks I'm a degenerate. All 3 of them will be telling their spouses about this someday. Oh, they definitely will. I think the 8-year-old's pretty safe. I don't think 8-year-olds really know anything about that sort of stuff, and their friends usually aren't online or shouldn't be. None of them should be at that age. But still, yeah, I think the 8-year-old probably won't understand, but the older 2 might. Ew. It's like I just created a lifelong memory, just like we all have certain memories from our childhood we don't want to have. TLDR, I sent my wife some racy SUL text messages and my kids were on my iPad. The texts were being delivered to the iPad and they saw all of them. They'll never unsee them. Congratulations for providing trauma for your children. The poor things. Oh, bless. So let's have a look at some comments, shall we? Spanish for the Jeff says, probably a good time to tell you that your texts also go to your MacBook if you have one. You can turn this off by stopping messages from being forwarded on your phone and shutting iMessages off on your iPad. And then Kaguru says, even better, always give each user their own sign-in. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, yes. Okay then, last post for the day. Today I effed up by texting my boss instead of my girlfriend. So, this morning I was in a rush and half asleep when I got a sweet "good morning" text from my girlfriend. I wanted to respond with something flirty and cute, so I typed, "Good morning, babe, winky kissy face. Can't wait to see you later. I've been thinking about you all night," and then a little sidewards smirky face and a heart. I hit send and threw my phone down, proud of my smoothness. 5 minutes later, I got a reply from my boss. Turns out I had opened my boss's text from earlier in the day and replied in that thread instead. She responded, "I don't think this message was meant for me." Cue immediate panic. I apologised profusely, trying to explain the mix-up, but I've been dying of secondhand embarrassment all day. Worst part, we had a Zoom meeting that afternoon and she couldn't stop smirking. TLDR, I tried to send a flirty text to my girlfriend but accidentally sent it to my boss. Now I have to live with that forever. Oh, we've all done it though, haven't we? I remember when I was a kid, I was probably, I'd say about 12. And I had like a really old shite phone. You remember them, the really old ones. Oh, was I actually a bit older? I might have been a bit older actually. I don't know. I had a 3210, a Nokia 3210. It was a brick and it would outlast all of us. Anyway, I was texting my friend and she had a name beginning with N. And I didn't have many contacts because I was a kid. Back in early 2000s as well. So we didn't have all of that, we didn't have loads and loads of people we'd be talking to. You'd have 5 friends and your mum and your dad. So I'd had a little argument with my mum in the car and we're on this long journey because I was going from my mum's to my dad's, which was an hour. And I don't care for anyone who doesn't live in the UK, an hour is a long drive, okay? And I was texting my friend and then I'd come out the message and for some reason I'd gone back into the message and I'd sent something like, I can't tonight, mum's being a right bitch or a right cow. I can't remember what word I used. And my mum was one of them. She'd pick up a phone and bloody read the messages as she's driving, wouldn't she? So she gets ping, message come through and she just read it and then she looked at me and she went, oh, am I really? I just remember little childhood me was like, oh my God, let the fucking ground swallow me up now. Is the child lock on? I need to jump out this bloody car. Because my mum was very erratic as well back in day, and I think I got a clip round the ear for that. Down in the comments, Elsie Anderton says, have told this story many times as a cautionary tale. Sent my landlord, I love you, intended for the wife. To which he replied, that's nice, but I'm still not reducing your rent. Oh, I love that they could be jovial about it though. And then Vicarin says, reminds me of when I sent my dad, you're mine when we get home, which was meant for my wife. He immediately replied with, I have Bible study tonight. Oh my God. And then Stoic Weasel said, Dad didn't want none of that smoke. God. Okay, well that was a wild ride, wasn't it? That was fun. I like reading Today I Effed Up, I really do. You go from some of them are a little bit more oh God, oh dear, and then others are just hilarious. And it's great to see other people just having a really dense moment. Because I have them all the time. Because my brain's always on a million bloody things, I have many a dense moment. Where I just fully embarrass myself. It's great. Gives me a little inner peace seeing other people also doing it. But yeah, if you made it to the end, I appreciate you very much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this lightened your day. If you give a little like and subscribe, I'd appreciate you even more, and it'll help you find your way back here as well for more of this. And why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want that? Anyway, I hope you have a really good rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Goodbye.